Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Nigerians and CPO, and all the other dignitaries and people here. My name is Dr. Moses Paul, popularly known as Dr. Mo. I'm the Secretary General of the Obedient Movement, and I'm happy that the national coordinator of our movement globally is here in person of Dr. Yunusa Tanko. But I'm also the candidate for the chairmanship of AMAC under the ADC. This is very important, and I like to put a caveat. It symbolizes what the Obedient Movement is about. It's a movement that is rooted far beyond the parochialism of party affiliation, beyond tribal sentiment, beyond the parochialism of religious sentiment, and everything that has broken and pulled us down. That's what the Obedient Movement is about. It pushes and advocates for individuals, regardless of platforms, who are upholding the integrity of the epitomization of the ideals of Mr. Peter Obi, which is characterized by the values of integrity, competence, consistency, of nation building, and holding on to what is true for us as a people. Before I introduce the keynote speaker today, in just a few minutes, I'd like to talk to us about part of the reason why we're here, which has to do with the electoral reform as a panacea for successful election in 2027. Every time, like the Mr. Palmson, host today, spoke to us about, I'm old enough to know that every time we hold elections in Nigeria, each time we hold elections, and I've been voting forever, there is a well of hope. There is this anticipation of energy that cuts across the entire country every time that elections come. Whether it's 2011 or 1999 or 2015 or 2023, there is this hope that is built across the nation. But again and again, that hope is often dashed because of the broken system of the process of electioneering that we have in our country. The malpractices, the manipulations that often go before those processes and dashes the hope of Nigerians against all odds. And I would just mention very briefly what is required for us to do to be able to hold integrity against what we must do to be able to uphold what election reforms as panacea for success in 2027. And I dare say for 2025, because George Mohalu is right here, and his elections is just by the corner, which is as important as 2027. And of course, as 2026, my election is coming up. AMAC is the most important local council in the country, bigger than about 5 states. And yet, the local governance under which jurisdictions you sit today does not exist in terms of performance and governance. Very important. The president lives here. The National Assembly is right here. Over 120 embassies are here. The diaspora representation is here. Every human being, dead or alive, that has touched this country in one way or the other has something to do with AMAC. And yet, we have people who do not even understand governance, much less the understanding of the narrative of conversations lead us here. I dare say that is more important even than the presidential election, because everything is local, from education to health to transport to our livelihood to our lives. And therefore, until we have technological integrity, whether it has to do with our beavers or our registration processes or the transmission of election results, until we have integrity in terms of our technology, We're not going to go anywhere until we have an INEC that is independent, not wearing jersey and playing as though it is one of the players. We can have a referee that wears jerseys. No, we must have an INEC that is independent in spirit, in form, in conduct, in behavior, and in every regalia that is required. Yes, we must have, and indeed, voters, the integrity of voting, not suppressing. Obedience were beaten blue-black from Kano. They were killed in Kano, shot in River State, beaten out of polling booths in Lagos. No, until we have a country and electoral reforms that hold integrity of voting, that does not suppress voters. And yes, until we have a justice system, an institution that allows for the right legality of things, is the baseline of our lives. Without law and order, we will have issues that remains pending, unending, and justice denied, or justice delayed, is justice denied. And so until we have across board these issues outlined, and lastly, we must have people reform. I live here in Abuja. I see people break traffic lights. It is not because there are no traffic lights. So yes, in 2023, somebody went and unplugged the IREV. There is a law, there is a reform that is against pulling the IREV, but somebody went and unplugged it. When the light says red, some people cross the line. So until we are changed, until we have people reform, because with people reform, when we fix the ballot, we fix governance. When we fix governance, we fix education, we fix health, we fix livelihood, we fix every other thing, beginning from our families, governance, banking system, and everything that is required of us. And so here today, these are some of the 5 keys that are required, reforms that are necessary for us to have a 2027 free, 2026, 2025 successful election. Ladies and gentlemen, the man I'm about to introduce to speak to us is a man that I've visited a couple of times in and out of this country. He has a big base in Namibia, and I've been there twice. He's a father, a mentor, one who is revered across board, one who upholds integrity in every light, one who is a leader, who have stood a fully obedient by word and by conduct. He puts his money where his mouth is. Dr. Haruna Goro is a leader who has held the torch of dignity and integrity across Africa. And today, I want us, with a standing ovation, to receive our speaker, even though I know that he'll be speaking to us you remember I talked about electoral, technological integrity. Today we are living in a world that cuts across our physicality. There are more people listening than people in this hall. So ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for a patriot, a true Nigerian, as we listen to Dr. Haruna Goro. Please, you may be seated as we listen to the keynote speaker.